arm curl exercise is really useful if you've been sat down for the whole day. It loosens up everything from the neck down to the lower back, and it can feel quite relaxing as well. So how you do it is place feet hip distance apart, then you bend your knees slightly, you're going to tuck your chin in and put your chin down into your chest. I can already feel a nice stretch in my neck with that. Then the idea is that you roll your spine down one bit at a time. So you tuck your chin in, pull your tummy muscles in, and then start curling your spine down. And as you go down, you relax your arms that they just hang freely until you're finally hanging from your hips. Okay, to show you this movement from the side, you bend your knees, tuck your chin, and then start the movement down all the way forwards. Now once you're down in the position, you can spend roughly about 10 seconds or so in there. At that point, you pull in your tummy muscles again and slowly roll up, trying to do it one vertebra at a time until you're in the upright position. I prefer to do that a minimum of 3 times before I go for a run, but it's up to you. If you feel really tight, you can hold the position for longer. Just bear in mind, if you hold it for more than half a minute, you may get into the realm of switching muscles off again. So it's best to aim for something between 10 and 15 seconds before you come back up again. The other part that becomes really stiff and tight when you're sitting down is the front of the thighs, so into the hip flexors. You must have heard of hip flexors or quads in the past. And this is basically because they are stuck in this position the whole time that you're sitting. Now when we run, we really need the leg to be able to go back past the hip or past the midline so that you can give a good stride and that you don't overwork other parts of the body. I really like lunge dips because they don't just lengthen this bit of the muscles, but they actually also activate the hamstrings, the glutes and the quads, which all switch off when you sit the whole day. So it's very easy. You place one leg out in front of the other, and it's quite a large step that you want to give. Then you come down into a lunge position as deep as you can, and if you're really tight, I must say I can already feel the stretch over the front of this thigh, but to increase the stretch, you can pull your pelvis backwards. If you allow your pelvis to tilt forwards, you may not find that you feel anything stretching there, so just pull your tummy muscles in and bring that back. Then in this position, you can just dip a bit lower and come out of it again 10 times, so that you get a good old stretch at the front of the hip, but you're also working all of these other muscles to do the movement. Then after you've done 10 of those, you just go into the other side. And again, nice long step. If you don't feel the stretch, widen your step and pull your pelvis back a bit more. And 10 dips again. Then from here, you can go directly into lunge walks, which essentially is just what the name says. You give a big step, go into the lunge, come up, and give it a big step immediately again. Of course, that works best if you've actually got enough space to step. I usually do about 10 of those before I then go into the lunge dips again for each leg, and then repeat another 10 steps back to the other side. Remember, this warm-up is by no means enough to get you warm enough to do sprints. It's just for the person who, like me, sit at the laptop most of the day and then have a few minutes to quickly go for a run. Instead of just trying to do a slow run to warm up, these can actually get your muscles to a point where you likely won't overuse the wrong things. For this exercise, you're going to need a book, or a step or sidewalk works well. I tend to do it outside our building, just hold on to the lamppost for some stability. The idea is that you find some place where you can do a heel lift, but that your heel can actually drop below the level of your toes. And a lot of people think that you do this as a stretch, so they tend to hang at the bottom. It's not for a stretch. Yes, you'll get more range of movement, but it's actually to wake your calf muscles up, because they are meant to absorb quite a lot of the shock that your leg goes through when you're running. So the idea is toes on there, hold on to something for balance because it's not a balance trick, and you go up and then you dip down to where you can, and then you go back up again. And you do that 10 times, and you can give it a bit of speed to go up because that way you really wake it up. And then once you've done 10 on the one side, you change legs and you do 10 on that other side. So you go up quickly, slightly slow it down, don't hang at the bottom, and up again. And you're aiming to do roughly 2 sets at least on each foot. If you're really unfit and it actually feels like a strengthening exercise when you're doing it, you may have to start with fewer repetitions of those, or you actually may have to do them double-legged, that is not that heavy on each leg. But you should really be building up that you can easily do 2 sets of 10, that it just wakes them up. It doesn't feel like a strength exercise.